Ya basıyor.
Ağustos'a söyleyeyim istiyorum.
Aha.
Please start, please, your presentation.
Okay. Important steps taken by Kazakhstan to renounce nuclear heritage. First, all facets of modern Kazakhstan and the national identity have been shaped by its history with nuclear weapons. The lives of all Kazakhstans have in some way been singed by nuclear testing. The former Soviet Union treated Kazakh soil as a nuclear testing ground and conducted as many as 460 nuclear tests. Kazakhstan inherited weapon identity independence more than 1,400 nuclear weapons, and President Nazarbayev quickly moved the commission each warhead and tactical weapon. Today, Kazakhstan stands as a clear example of how a nation can obtain economic prosperity and national security without nuclear weapons rather than with them. And secondly, the government of Kazakhstan's contribution to the nuclear disarmament program demonstrates its commitments to the objectives of global security, establishing Kazakhstan as a critical member of the world community. Kazakhstan's experience in disarming itself of nuclear weapons following the fall of the Soviet Union could serve as a model for other countries, most notably Iran. During a symposium held here of Capitol Hill, Kazakh and the US officials, former officials, and other experts detailed Kazakhstan's transformation. During the 1990s, form a newly independent country possessing meets the world's largest nuclear arsenals to one that renounced nuclear weapons and has since worked to dismantle. On the 29th of December 1991, the leaders of Belarus, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine signed the Almaty Declaration, in which they agreed on the control mechanisms of the operation of the nuclear arsenal of the former USSR and affirmed their international obligations concerning the strategic arms reduction. On the 23rd of May 1992 in Lisbon, the representative of Kazakhstan, Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, and the USA signed a five-party protocol to the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. At the same time, the Belarus, Ukraine, and the Kazakhstan as the states possessing nuclear weapons communicate themselves to the non-proliferation treaty. Thus, Kazakhstan has made its historical decision to renounce its nuclear heritage, which was an important step strengthening as statehood of our country as an integral part of existing world civilization. First, in accordance with the Lisbon Protocol, Kazakhstan, Belarus, and Ukraine as successor states to the USSR in terms of the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, have agreed to participate along with Russia and USA in the work of their joint commission on observance and inspection. They have also agreed to conclude agreements on the limits and the restriction specified by the treaty. Kazakhstan ratified of the treaty and the Lisbon Protocol, which is an integral part of the treaty, on the 2nd of July 1992. The strategic arms reduction treaty came into force in 1994 and paved the way to disarmament and the elimination of nuclear warheads under strict supervision. Kazakhstan was the first among the participants of the Lisbon Protocol to implement the provisions concerning removal of nuclear warheads. On the 21st on April 1996, for process of removal of 14 and 16 nuclear warheads from Kazakhstan territory was completed. On the 1st of May 1995, the last nuclear test warhead, which was located in gallery of the Seminour test site, was destroyed. Finally, Kazakhstan had got rid of its nuclear inheritance forever. During the Soviet era, Kazakhstan was the site of the world's fourth largest nuclear arsenal of more than 1,000 deadly UCBMs, which posed a menacing, if not dangerous, threat to international peace. Depending on the leadership and the direction of that country when it became independent in 1991. Fortunately, that leader headed with President Nursultan Nazarbayev, who acted decisively to order the dismantling and the removal of the country's nuclear weapons system. In 1994, Kazakhstan transferred more than a half ton of weapons-grade uranium to the US. In 1995, Kazakhstan removed its last nuclear warhead and with US assistance completed the sealing of 180 nuclear test tunnels in May 2000. Kazakhstan has signed the START treaty, the nuclear non-proliferation treaty, the chemical weapons convention, and the comprehensive test ban treaty. On March 21, 2009, the 30 on nuclear weapon-free zone in Central Asia. Signed on September 8, 2006 in Semey, Kazakhstan went into force. Kazakhstan welcomes the 30s, becoming effective and believes that it will contribute to global non-proliferation process and promote regional and international security. The new denuclearized zone in Central Asia has a number of unique features. First, one of the zone state nominally Kazakhstan. In the past, possessed the fourth largest nuclear arsenal. Secondly, for the first time, the denuclearized zone is created in northern hemisphere, and thirdly, this 30 becomes the first arguments in security are which bringing and all 5 Central Asian countries. And finally, for the first time, the denuclearized zone has been created in the region nuclear state.
You looked also.
Biz жалғастыра берейік па?
Continue, please.
Okay. Functioning of Baikonur under the Semipalatinsk polygon plan with reduction main part under reference. Semipalatinsk nuclear test site. The Semipalatinsk nuclear test site is the first and one of the largest nuclear test sites in the USSR, also known as the CNTP. The Semipalatinsk nuclear test site location. The landfill is located in Kazakhstan on the border of Semipalatinsk, now East Kazakhstan, Pavlodar and Karaganda regions, and 130 kilometers northwest of Semipalatinsk on the left bank of the Yitish River. The landfill is 18 and 150 kilometers. Semipalatinsk test site on the satellite map. History. The first test of the nuclear weapon in the Soviet Union was carried out on August 29 and 49. The power of the bomb was 22 kilotons. The creation of the test site was part of the atomic project, and the choice was made as it turned out later very successfully. The terrain made it possible to carry out underground nuclear explosion both in edits and in wells. On August 20. On August 12 and 43 is 400 kiloton radiation 6 thermonuclear charge was tested at the inside. And of November 22, 1945, the radius 37 thermonuclear bomb was tested in altitude of about 2 kilometers by dropping from an aircraft. After the entry into force of the international treaty banning nuclear tests in the three environments in the air, space, and the underwater, signed on October 10 and 2063 in Moscow between the USSR, the USA and Great Britain, only underground explosions begin to be carried out on the test site. Since 1945, more than 200 kilometers nuclear tests have been carried out in the world. 2/3 of all Soviet tests, 268 nuclear explosions were carried out on Semipalatinsk nuclear test site, including 125 explosions on the surface of the earth and in the air. Hundreds of thousands of residents of Altai, central and the eastern Kazakhstan in the 15th of the 20th century regularly watched this magnificent and terrible second Hajj nuclear microbes in the sky is the result of many years of tests in nuclear weapons, and a huge amount of radioactive substances were released into the atmosphere. Impact of nuclear testing on the environment and agriculture in the separation. The impact of nuclear testing on the environment and agriculture is multifaceted and communicates to evolve. The observed phenomenon can be called a continuously threatening environmental problem with elements of an environmental disaster, the manifestations of which accumulate for decades, depleting a local resource and ultimately exceeding the ability of population to cope with them. Population and health, the inclusions of children is regions for 20 and 23 exceeded the Republican indicators by 125 times, and emotion per thousand of the child population in the East Kazakhstan region and in the Karaganda region. The Pavlodar region and against the Republican indicators for the dedicated years. The water supply facilities of the region do not meet sanitary requirements to the lack disinfection installations, the arrangement of sanitary protection zones and preventive work. At the same time, the information about the largest of radionuclides into underground waters and the territories adjacent to be landed. By the decree, the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Abishul Nazarbayev, the Semipalatinsk nuclear test site was officially closed on August 29, 1991. Today, the Republic of Kazakhstan is the first and so far the only country to voluntarily renounce nuclear weapons. However, both in the territory of the land and in some neighboring regions, heavy contaminated zones remain. And thank you for attention.
Okay. And Uldana, compare please the Hiroshima and Nagasaki of Japan's towns with Semipalatinsk polygon with the test. About health.
Ең бірінші жарылған жерлер сол.
In English, please. Жапонияның Нагасаки, Хиросима қалаларына да атом бомбасы түсірілді ғой. Иә? Семейде ашық ауада атом бомбасы жарылды, сынақ жасалынды. Енді соның зардабы. Хиросима, Нагасакида жапондар үшін денсаулыққа қатысты жаңа не дейміз, түрлі ауруды қазіргі кезде жойған деп айтылады. А біздің Семей жақта ондай әлі толық жойылмаған. Compare it, please.
In radiation signal in Semipalatinsk in many and pupil hills in children and the including of children in these regions exceeded in the indicators and others. People in hills не жақсы емес ол жақтың ауа райы да атмосферасы да экология да ол жақта ол жақтағы апай студенттерге сол жаққа оқуға түскені үшін экологияға тағы ақша қосып бермей ме иә экологический зонаға
Children are born with various diseases, yes, diseases, and there is ecological crisis region. Дети рождаются с различными болезнями. Children are born with different various diseases. It is tragedy, yes, and there is medical academy in the Semipalatinsk town, and they connection with Japan medical universities, among them Hiroshima, and they make many practicals, research the disease, and they make many medicine and others. You have to know about this semi-polygon. What do you know about the movement Nevada семей, and why it name Nevada семей? What is Nevada? It is a state of America, yes, and there is also polygon in Nevada. That's why this movement named Nevada семей. And this movement with Oljas Suleimanov, you know.
Yes.
Next, please, who want to answer? Who want to continue? Ayjan, please. Yes, I see functioning of Baikonur and the Semipalatinsk polygon.
Of Baikonur under the Semipalatinsk polygon, Golda, the USSR exploited its first atomic bomb in 1949. Golda tensions increased in the USSR when the US exploited its first hadricon bombs in 1952. It was 1,000 times more powerful than the Hiroshima atom bombs. The semi-palatine site was one of the most important sites in the USSR during the Soviet era. Atomic bombs were tested on the territory of Kazakhstan. For this 18 million hectares of land were allotted, and the semi-palatine nuclear test site was opened. Open territory have been conducted that nature semi. Then they began building them ungrounded. The exponents of the atom bombs were horrible severs. About 100,000 people living in the radiations near semi-palatines suffering from this test. That in February 1989, the first rally of the Nevada semi-palatines movement took place, which decided struggle for a nuclear test in the semi-palatines. It was headed by Will known public figure, poet Oljas Süleymanov. It reads, "We must not remain silent every time our steps are chained by nuclear exploited. Thousands of Hiroshima have exploited in the 14 years. We look to the future with danger." Movements, Nevada semi-palatines movement, nuclear wins in the Kazakhstan, exploited, please, and translate in our homes and to fetch our reach. That semi-palatines nuclear test agreed threats to people's health. Semi-palatines is a former nuclear test. The semi-palatines takes about millions kilometers of this area. 5 tests where the health explained understand that the point semi-palatines the polygon that the semi-palatines nuclear test state of Kazakhstan, nuclear 500 weapons tested, biological and chemical wells, local not warmed or 1989 radiation leaks dissipated. It will be years before it is clear of radiation. The source of nuclear test began to be established in the media, on televisions and in newspaper. Doctors and skins have the courage to talk openly about the effects of radiation, and at the interfacial of the people for the first time. The USSR president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, the date of Nazarbayev's decree on the closure of the semi-palatines test site is August 28, 1991. On August 29, 1991, the semi-palatines nuclear test site was closed. Then it is May. Baikonur began building 1991 adopted February 100 government on the constructions of the USSR polygon for testing interesting ballistic that become Cosmodrome in 1957. Baikonur it is space situation located on the territory of Karmaksha, decreed of Kızıldağ region, founded in the 1955 late when choosing Baikonur for the construction of the station, the location of the site called the proximate to the quality of the factors where the Kazakhstan from the Baikonur Cosmodrome launched the first H stated and the first named the Sirius Vostok Soyuz article energy Buran and interacted the USSR established that as you Baikonur
Okay, Ayjan, thank you for your presentation. Send it to my email, okay?
Okay.